me, though, I have realized probably the most interesting thing that I have done was, and I'm going to blame the illness. I was sick, and I had a bad case of mono, and whoever tells you that mono makes you just lazy and lethargic and stuff like that, it's partially true, but it also makes you completely incapable of sleeping. It was like 3 days straight. I maybe slept an hour, 2 hours total. I just couldn't sleep. So started to get real bad sleep deprivation and fatigue, and I started to get a little bit of paranoia. And one night I'm laying there in bed, and I look up, and there's a guy on a horse in my room, and this is not the thing that bothers me. The thing that bothers me is the fact that he won't get off his horse to open the door and leave, so I have to get out of bed, go and open the door, and usher him out. So I go and I open the door, and I'm like, as I do this motion, I realize there may not be a person on a horse in my room. But I'm not 100% sure of that. Because it's possible. According to my brain at that moment, it is possible. Well, then, maybe the next day or something, the days and nights, they all kind of rolled together. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. But I'm sitting there in my room, and I see this car pull up outside. I don't recognize the car. And this woman gets out. I don't recognize the woman. She starts coming up. So I start getting paranoid, and I'm looking out the window because, I actually left the British guy. I never paid my ticket, so it could be a warrant. I don't know. So I'm looking out, and I see her. She comes up to the door, and she knocks on the door a little bit, and and I don't know who she is, so I'm not going to answer it. And then she rings the doorbell, and so I start freaking out. My mind starts going into all these different scenarios of what's going on, because I see her. She leaves, and she goes over to her car, and then she's in there for a few minutes. And so I'm looking through the blinds, and I'm trying to piece this together and figure it out. And then she comes back, and so I duck down, and she goes over to the door, and I can't see around the corner exactly what she's doing, but it looks like she has something in her hand, like papers or something, and so I'm like, oh no, it's a warrant, they're after me. And so she puts it on there, and then I start thinking ridiculous, like I start thinking, oh, it's it's fake. It's not really a warrant. They want me to think it's a warrant, but she's like a government agent. And she's like this secret like CIA person or something, and they're trying to hunt me down. Because apparently I have something they want. I don't know. And I'm start thinking, and I'm like, okay, this is what it is. They want to mutate me with some sort of like gopher. So then some sort of like gopher humanoid mutation, so that way I can like burrow under enemy camps or something like that. I start thinking this stuff. And so she goes back into the car, and then she drives away, but I'm not sure exactly what's going on. So I drop to the floor, and I'm crawling through the living room, and I go to the back door. I sneak out the back door, and I'm looking around, and I drop to the ground, and my wonderful dog thinks it's a game, so she drops to the ground. She starts crawling along with me, which is great because she gets excited and she starts barking and everything. So that's really what I need at this moment because I think the government's after me. So I go over to the corner and I look, and she's not there. So then I decide, well, I've got to see what this is on the door. But I don't want to go through the house, open the door, because at this point I know my house is under surveillance. I know they've got me wired. So immediately what kicks in is all my secret ops training from playing Halo and watching the Jason Bourne movies. Immediately I know what to do. So I scale my wall. And well, first of all, I grab some mud and put it on my face because you have to have mud on your face to camouflage yourself. And then I scale the wall and I get up on the roof and I'm back crawling across the roof and everything. In my head, the Mission Impossible theme is going on and it makes me really excited. And so I'm going around and I drop down. I go up to the front of the house and I walk up there like I don't live there, like I'm looking for somebody, and I knock on the door. Nobody. I'm looking around and I see the paper and I grab the paper and I slide it into my pocket after I pulled out rubber gloves and grabbed it because I don't know what they could put them on. So I get it and I go back around, sneak up onto the house, same exact routine, drop down, put more mud on my face because it felt good, and then I go back inside the house and I take the paper and I soak it in water because I want to disrupt any sort of tracking device or anything they may have put on there. So I don't trust them. So I get it and I get out the tongs and the tweezers and I peel it apart and everything. I'm trying to see what it says and I read it. And it says, "Hello, my name is Sue Myers. I live down the street. I have a small turtle that eats the same leaves from the tree in your front yard, and I was hoping that maybe I could take some of them home. Please call me at this phone number." So then, now I feel ridiculous. Now I feel completely stupid because obviously I had no idea what I was thinking. They're not going to turn me into a gopher. They're going to turn me into a turtle, people! A mutated turtle that eats leaves!